And Charlie, he wanted to save young men, just like the one who took his life. That young man. On the cross, our Savior said, "Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do." That man, that young man, I forgive him. I forgive him because it was what Christ did and is what Charlie would do. The answer to hate is not hate. The answer we know from the gospel is love, and always love. Love for our enemies and love for those who persecute us.
Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on this panel show are those of the individual speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of this channel, its affiliates, sponsors, or production team. This content is intended for informational and entertainment purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised. We encourage respectful dialogue and critical thinking around the topics discussed.
Described him as one of the most dangerous men on the face of the earth.
Welcome to the Man Cave. Welcome to the Man Cave. I'm Gray Mars.
I'm Mia.
10 Billions, what's good?
I'm Doc.
I'm Heaven.
And we have a special guest, Cosmic Kid, referred by Mia. Go ahead, Cosmic Kid.
Hi, I'm Cosmic Kid. You can catch me on TikTok.
For sure. So that was Erika Kirk saying that she forgives the shooter. Mia, how do you feel? Do you feel like she should have forgave him?
I mean, she's a good Christian woman for forgiving him. I mean, I'm not sure I believe that she forgives him. I'm not sure I believe her theater that she's putting on in front of a mass propaganda show. But I mean, if she forgives him, I feel like good for her, because it could never be me. I could never forgive that. But I mean, good for her if she's genuine.
Doc, what about you?
I think even getting up there, even if you don't forgive someone, you know, with the time frame that the short time frame is happening, her even coming out to say that she does is a big thing. So I mean, I believe her. You know what I mean? Some people really do step out in this faith and live, you know, all the things that they preach. So you know, if she didn't forgive him, I wouldn't give her a hard time. If she does, you know, that's more power to her. It's a tough thing to do. It's a tough thing to navigate. So,
Ken?
I think that I don't know about that. I think like forgiveness is something that you work through, you sit with it. This is less than 2 weeks. So I think that was the political thing to do. But I will say Black mothers are typically usually drilled for this when they forgive their children when they're killed by police officers. They are drilled for this, and she's elevated for this. And Black mothers and Black parents are usually called dumb and stupid and weak. And why do we always forgive our enemies? But when the white woman does it, it's elevated. So Trayvon Martin's mom and all those mothers, when they did this on national television, they're called dumb. They're called stupid. They're called weak.
Cosmic Kid, what about you?
I mean, politically, like she answered it the right way. I'm not the one to really say whether or not she meant it or not, because that's honestly, I'm not in her head. Personally, in my own opinion, if it was somebody who has gone through something like that, I don't necessarily think that like a week you would honestly forgive someone like within a week, personally, in my opinion. But you know, she says she's a Christian, and she's like heavily leaning into the Christianity and you know, forgiveness. So I mean, it's up to her at the end of the day.
Heaven?
Oh, because I've been looking into this. I didn't agree with Charlie Kirk, but as a 15-year veteran who served this country and believes in freedom of speech and our First Amendment right, Charlie Kirk had every right to do and say anything he wanted to say. Maybe not do, but say anything he wanted to say. Freedom of speech. Now I'm mad. Because now you're taking people's lives for what they're speaking, and now you're demonizing everybody else's speech. And now you have this widow that, from my research, has some ties to the government from back in 2007. That's interesting. I've been looking into a lot of things regarding her since his passing, and everything that she's been doing is really suspicious. Really suspicious. It does not seem like the behavior of a grieving woman. To have multiple people sitting in her husband's chair, to have all of this, she's stoking this hate and division that her husband, regardless, stood against. He said, we debate, we talk, when, you know, that's how he wanted it done. So to honor him, you should keep that going. And as an ordained minister, if you're gonna quote it. Forgive them, Lord. They know not what they do.
For sure. Well, people really love Charlie Kirk, and I actually interviewed this guy who I'm about to play at Turning Point in Tampa, where me and Nora went down there. But he went all the way from Missouri to Charlie Kirk's memorial.
From Missouri, come on over here real quick. You came from across the country. Why'd you feel it was important to come out?
To show my support. It's sad what happened to Charlie. I actually got to meet the man. He's a very humble man, a very spiritual man, and I love that about him. And I just love how he stood up for America and how he was able to help Donald Trump get into office and how he talks to the youth and gives everybody a fair shot. So I just wanted to come and show my support.
What do you think about the fact that for his memorial service, it filled up to capacity like that, 60,000 people. You got thousands more trying to go into this overflow. Just talk about the crowds you're seeing out here.
It was to be expected, if you ask me. He was a very loved man. He's going to be missed. I mean, Charlie, he always brought out big crowds, and he always stayed on relevant topics, and he speaks very well. So I think that a lot of people wanted to know him personally, and we all felt like we knew him personally.
And what's your plan? You're going to go to Overflow? You're going to just hang out here? What's your deal?
I'm planning on going to Overflow. Absolutely. And I plan on speaking out a lot more, too. He actually inspired me. I'm usually a little bit more reserved when it comes to speaking out and being loud about things, but he really woke me up. And I'm a lot older than him. I'm 42. So he inspired me to just want to speak more and give my opinion, because I don't think this should go in vain.
It sounds like he had that effect on a lot of people. More than 62,000 new Turning Point USA chapters being requested across the country. Adrian from Missouri, nice to meet you. Thanks for your time.
Ken, you're the one that brought up race. So how do you feel, this black guy traveling all the way from Missouri to, I think Charlie Kirk was in Arizona. How do you feel about him traveling all the way there for the memorial?
What's wrong with that? Black people got range. Like, there's not a place the black people are not supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? Black people have range. Black people listen to country music. Black people listen to rock and roll. Black people are original Americans. So, you know what I'm saying? This is not uncommon. There's not like this, that's not controversial. He's not a sellout. You know, he's an individual, you know what I'm saying? And Black people can go to and fro. They don't have to listen to hip hop. They don't have to fit a certain type of stereotype. They don't have to have tattoos. They can vote for who they want, date who they want. Black people are free people. So I don't agree with the white man's plantation, and I definitely don't agree with the nigga plantation. So the Black man could go anywhere he wants. There was nothing wrong with that.
Okay, so Jasmine Crockett said something that ruffled a lot of people's feathers. So this is what she said.
Resolution that came before the House this past week honoring Charlie Kirk. And there were 58 Democrats who voted against it. You were one.
Yeah.
Why?
Absolutely. You know what? One of the things I do want to point out that's not been laid out that honestly hurts my heart is when I saw the no votes, there were only 2 Caucasians. For the most part, the only people that voted no were people of color because the rhetoric that Charlie Kirk continuously put out there was rhetoric that specifically targeted people of color. And so it is unfortunate that even our colleagues could not see how harmful his rhetoric was specifically to us. And I can tell you that a month prior to him passing away, he had actually gotten out on his podcast. I wasn't aware of this at the time, but he got out there and he was talking negatively about me directly. So if there was any way that I was going to honor somebody who decided that they were just going to negatively talk about me and proclaim that I was somehow involved in the great white replacement, yeah, I'm not honoring that kind of stuff, especially as a civil rights attorney and understanding how I got to Congress, knowing that there were people that died, people that were willing to die, that worked to make sure that voices like mine could exist in this place. So to me, just like we wanted to make sure that those Confederate relics were taken down, the idea of a new age relic being propped up was something that I just could not subscribe to. And it is unfortunate that more of my colleagues, even on my side of the aisle, could not see the amount of harm that this man was attempting to inflict upon our communities.
Cosmic, how do you feel about what she said?
I feel like she's completely right. I feel like the last guy is a sellout. Charlie Kirk, as much as, you know, I feel bad of how he went out. Charlie Kirk spoke ill will, in my opinion, on the Black community. He compared and chose to pick out specific Black women who literally have more degrees than he has combined and talk about how they have the less brain power than and that somehow they took a white man's spot or someone's spot who is going to be a white person in that spot. I don't know. At the end of the day, you can how can I say this without saying mean? I respect Charlie Kirk for him speaking out on the topics that he chose. The way that he spoke on Black community, on a lot of different communities, and not even speak on his own in the way that he spoke on other minorities, I'm sorry, that doesn't get a pass. And any Black person who like wants to befriend that, you have to question that. That's a question mark, in my opinion.
Okay, so Trump said something, but people not really giving him any flack for it, but this is what he said.
Charlie said, you know, that there was no such thing as hate speech.
You're watching Key Talk Media.
You know, no one anticipated what happened to Charlie, but you have always been.
I don't know if y'all heard what he said, but he basically said that Charlie would basically be believing in hate speech now because he got shot. Do you feel like that joke was appropriate?
I don't know if the joke was appropriate, but you know, Trump is pretty you know, open about saying, you know, whatever's on his mind. But if we believe that Charlie Kirk is somebody who's willing to live and die on the principles he stood on, one of the things he said was that, you know, we got to have an acceptable amount of gun deaths every year. We have to have an acceptable amount to still believe in our Second Amendment. Now, I don't know if that would change if he knew his own life would turn out in this way. But if I believe that he stood on the principles he believed in, then maybe he would, you know, see this and just, be okay with it. You know what I'm saying? So everybody has to go at some moment. So I don't know if, I don't know how he would think of it, how we see it. I know it's probably hard for his family and his friends though.
Well, this is what Trump said at the memorial.
In that private moment on his dying day, we find everything we need to know about who Charlie Kirk truly was. He was a missionary with a noble spirit and a great, great purpose. He did not hate his opponents. He wanted the best for them. That's where I disagreed with Charlie. I hate my opponent, and I don't want the best for them. I'm sorry. I am sorry, Erika. But now Erika can talk to me and the whole group, and maybe they can convince me that that's not right, but I can't stand my opponent.
Yeah. Evan, what you think? You think that's fair?
Sorry.
Free speech. I mean, look, you're not free from other people's actions and how they respond to what you say. But again, the Constitution. Charlie had every right to say anything he wanted. How everybody else feels about it is how they feel about it. They have a right to that as well. They can react or respond however they want to. But we do have freedom of speech. Point blank, period. He shouldn't have lost his life. And I honestly believe Israel did it. I qualify 40 out of 40. M16 with iron sights. I couldn't make that shot. Try again. I'm not doing this. Release the Epstein files. And we're going to get to the bottom. Like, I didn't agree with Charlie Kirk for some of the things he said. I didn't really even know who he was. But people shouldn't lose their job because they didn't know who he was, or they don't care, because guess what? Charlie Kirk believed in free speech. And if they stop peddling him around, maybe he can rest in peace. Because that'd be great.
Mia, you next.
I get passionate. This is bullshit.
I'm going to play what Charleston White said about Charlie Kirk, too, and you can respond to both.
Every disease known to man come through them. Come from a white man. Every disease that'll destroy a human's body, because they are not 100% humans. They carry the same disease as cows and measles and shit. They are not 100% humans. So we get sick, nigga, coming in contact with them. Nigga, we was never supposed to live amongst them. Nigga, they live with animals because the climate that they come from, they gotta keep their pigs inside. Why you think they let their dogs lay in the bed and lick their mouths?
All right, Mia, you was just talking about your pets, and Charleston White voted for Trump, but he's been going crazy ever since the Charlie Kirk situation. So, what you think?
Charleston White is nuts. That was so crazy and so wild of him to say. I can't even. But honestly, Charleston White, whether you agree or disagree with him, is a grifter. I mean, he's getting paid. People are paying him to speak. He's getting paid off his views. I mean, he's a grifter at the end of the day, and he's going to do whatever he can to stay relevant. And we all know everybody likes a train wreck. So, of course, the crazier he is, the more out of pocket he is, the more people are going to watch, and the more people are going to ask him to speak and panel spots for him. So, I mean, this is his grift. He reminds me of Dr. Umar. I mean, they're both sides of the same coin. They're doing the same thing. Might be different messages, but they're essentially the same character.
And Mars, real quick, what he's saying, he's saying it in comedic though, but historically, when the Moors went into Europe to conquer Europe, many of the rural areas in Europe, they did have hygiene problems. So there was laying with animals and stuff like that. That is historical fact. The bubonic plague and all those come from hygiene issues. But I also want to say too that I think a lot of black folks are being very tender dick when it comes to Charlie Kirk's rhetoric, because if I watch an episode of Love and Hip Hop, which has a black executive producer, which is Mona Scott, there's no imagery. There's no words that Charlie Kirk said that was worse than the imagery on VH1 every single day that displays black people acting upside down, black people post-fighting videos of the people in their community destroying each other. There's no speech that Charlie Kirk said where he mentioned black people that is worse than hip hop we listen to, where you kill your op, where you kill people. Don't you know my nigga Gutter kidnapped kids, fuck them in the ass, send them over the bridge? That's Biggie Smalls lyrics. Did you hear what I just said? So we're talking about Charlie Kirk. Oh, and we're offended by that shit. But if I comb through hip hop lyrics, show me where someone is saying, I love my children, I love my mama, I love my girlfriend. Show me. No, it's death coming out of people's mouth. So you got to make up your mind in what position that you're taking.
For sure. Well, before we go to the next topic, I'm gonna play a tribute for Charlie and what they performed at his memorial.